It shouldn't have taken that road. It was close to 2 a.m., and the highway between Oregon and Washington was almost completely empty. The drive had been long, and the exhaustion was starting to set in. So when his navigation app showed an old side road that could save him about 40 minutes, he decided to take it. The road cut straight through an old forest. Tall trees, thick branches, so dense they almost blocked out the moonlight. At first, nothing seemed strange, just the sound of the engine and an old song playing loudly on the radio. He was trying to stay awake, but after a few minutes, the radio started acting strange. The song began to cut in and out. Then a faint static noise appeared. He turned the volume up, but instead of disappearing, the static got worse. The sound turned into a sharp hiss, then into broken frequencies, as if the radio station was fading in and out every second. And then, suddenly, the sound disappeared completely. Not just the music, everything. The silence felt unnatural. Even the forest seemed too quiet. He slowed the car a little now, the road ahead darker than before. And that's when he noticed something. At the edge of the road, shadows. At first, he thought they were just trees moving with the wind. But the strange thing was, there was no wind, and the shadows were moving against the direction of the headlights. He slowed down even more, his eyes locked onto the darkness between the trees. And then something happened that he could never explain. He clearly felt a hand placed on his shoulder from behind. Not a light touch, a real hand, pressing down on his shoulder for a full second. His body froze. He turned quickly toward the back seat. No one. The car was completely empty. He tried convincing himself it was just exhaustion playing tricks on him, but before he could calm down, the car started shaking. The engine made a choking sound. Then the car suddenly lost power. He pressed the gas pedal. Nothing happened. The warning lights on the dashboard flashed, and the car rolled to a stop, right in the middle of the road. He stepped out quickly and opened the hood. The air in the forest was cold, but heavy in a strange way. After checking for a moment, he found the problem. The fuel hose connected to the fuel pump had cracked, and gasoline was slowly leaking out. It was a real mechanical issue, the kind that can cause a car to stall suddenly. He grabbed some tape from his toolbox and tried to patch it temporarily. And while he was working, he heard footsteps behind him. He turned around. A man was walking toward him from between the trees. His face wasn't clear in the darkness, but his voice was calm.
Car trouble? He felt a bit relieved. He explained the problem. The man leaned in and looked at the engine. After a moment, he said, "Simple problem. It can be fixed." He started helping, but after a minute or two, something felt off. The man wasn't actually fixing anything. He was just moving wires around, then putting them back, as if he was stalling for time. Then he noticed something even stranger. The man kept looking toward the forest, like he was waiting for something. Then suddenly he said, "You should finish up and leave this place." "Why?" he asked. The man didn't answer immediately. After a moment, he said quietly, "Because you're not welcome here." Before he could ask what he meant, the man stepped backward toward the trees and simply disappeared into the darkness. He stood there, confused, but then he heard it. Whispers, many of them, coming from deep inside the forest. Low voices, dozens of them, like people whispering all at once. Then something hit the car. A small stone, then another. The stones were coming from the trees, as if something in the forest was throwing them, or as if the place itself was rejecting him. Fear started creeping in. He quickly closed the hood, grabbed his tools, and got back in the car. He tried starting the engine. The engine hesitated for a second, then it started. He exhaled in relief. "Okay, I just need to get out of here." But before he even drove 20 meters, Bright headlights appeared behind him. A car, moving fast, too fast. It didn't slow down. It didn't change direction. It was heading straight toward him. Then, crash. The impact from behind was violent. His head slammed into the steering wheel, and everything went black. He didn't know how long he was unconscious, but when he slowly woke up, he heard something. A sound repeating. Knock, knock, on the window. He opened his eyes and slowly turned his head. Standing outside the car was the same man who had helped him earlier, but this time, his face wasn't clear. It looked unstable, as if the darkness was swallowing it. Then he spoke, but the voice wasn't normal. It sounded like several voices speaking at once. I told you to leave. He stepped closer to the window. This place doesn't like visitors. Then he raised his hand and slammed it against the glass. A large crack spread across the window, and behind him, more shadows appeared between the trees. Not clearly human, just dark shapes, standing silently, watching. Then the whispers returned, but this time he understood the words. Stay with us. Stay here. He's here. And then the glass shattered.
The next morning, road maintenance workers found the car parked on the side of the old road. The vehicle was almost completely intact, except for the shattered window. But the driver was gone. He had completely disappeared. The only thing they found inside the car was his phone. It was still recording, and it had captured everything that happened that night. The last thing he said in the recording was, "I'm never coming back here again." What do you think really happened to him? Tell me your theory in the comments.